Welcome to the Need I Remind You podcast. This is your host, Yolanda. Welcome back to the returning listeners. I'm glad that we all are here whenever you're listening to this. I am recording this episode in October of 2024, getting ready for the close of October and just reflecting on the fullness of fall that we've entered into. I am in Florida, Northwest Florida, and it's still hot and sunny here, but the leaves are falling. You can still see the decay of the nature. You can still see people kind of cleaning out their spaces, a lot of garage sales. You can see the shedding. Within me, fall is definitely a time for me to reflect, slow down, take off my shoes, put on some slippers, put on some, coziness, get an extra cup of tea throughout the day to just relax and slow my puppy down, especially after a very stimulating and vibrant spring and summer. I had a very rich time traveling this summer, solo traveling, road tripping through the the southern region of Florida. No, the southern region of the United States, the so-called United States, and taking that journey up to North Carolina. Charlotte, North Carolina was where I had curiosity come up last year, and I didn't know what this curiosity was. I just wanted to try something different. I felt like I was waiting for a sign or a inspiration to come through being in my hometown in North Florida last year and just getting those messages of clarity and building up my stillness practice and just tuning into my channel and just listening to the whispers of life and following curiosity. And it led me to Charlotte this year. And I spent 2 months in Charlotte, North Carolina. I spent a couple weeks on the road journeying through Alabama and Georgia. And on the opposite end, a couple of weeks returning, or actually about a 1 week return. I returned faster than I went. And it was great. It was so fulfilling. Charlotte is such a beautiful city. There's enough insight out there to talk about Charlotte, but what I will say is I appreciated the nature. I am a woodsy type of girl. I like parks. I like to be able to walk from a park downtown into a trail. I like to be able to, go up to the mountains from a 20-minute drive from the city. I like to be able to, just go to different museums and different studios, yoga studios, pole dance studios, the whole gamut, pottery studios. I mean, I tried several things while I was there, met a lot of great people, saw a lot of Black folks that were just doing their thing, not only running their businesses, but also just breathing life into the community and doing very wonderful, powerful things around social impact, around mental health. And I carried the gift of those experiences in Charlotte with me back home to Northwest Florida. This fall, I landed back in Florida in September, where I was able to, celebrate my dad's birthday. I was able to celebrate Sensual September, just a month that I have declared over the past few years as something to just pour into myself, be more liberal with showering myself with treats and doing things for me and pouring into my cup a little bit more unapologetically, and just slowing down and getting into the senses of being back home in my hometown and just having a different quality of appreciation for the slower pace, the more familiar place, the more ordinary life, and not reaching so much for the next adrenaline rush or the next trip or the next this. It's just about, okay, I got a great dip in the southern summer and I got a lot of good insights about what feels good, feels nourishing. And my return home is about me slowing down and reevaluating not only my finances, but the other aspects of my life to see what do I need to do so that I can next year sustain the new area or the new spaces that I want to occupy going forward after receiving so many creative downloads from this summer. So I say all that to say this time, this fall, especially with this being an election season, a presidential election season, as well as a lot of other big amendments happening and things of that nature. Just slowing down and giving myself plenty of rest, plenty of hydration, plenty of sun, and plenty of joy. I know that I am also celebrating 3 years of being unemployed by choice, divorced from corporate America and hierarchical organizations rooted in white supremacy and capitalism, and just known for dictating and just very oppressive ways of being, very rigid ways of being that don't allow the soul to breathe, don't allow diversity to truly dance and do its thing and deliver solutions that actually uplift people and humanity. So I've been divorced for that for over 3 years now, and it just brings such joy to my face. It brings such joy to my life, such honor, such gratitude that I have this space, that I have parents who have allowed me to stay with them, my father for the past 3 years, and now I'm staying with my mother as I regroup and reevaluate my next steps of living independently again, and possibly in a interdependence space. I don't know what that looks like. I'm really creating that as I go, because I know I have options and I have the capacity to design whatever I'm looking for. But I know that independence feels really good for me, living alone. If I'm being very poignant about my independence, living alone feels very good, while also having neighbors and community members that I can reach for that are like minded and that give me support towards the values that I believe in and the values that I'm working to uphold and expand in my life and in the world. So that takes work, that takes focus, that takes time and patience, and that takes an embodiment of just trying things and being okay with whatever outcomes happen. So it's been a journey, even though I'm not working, quote unquote, or earning income, is like what I like to say. I'm still working. I'm still loving on me. I'm still taking care of most of my responsibilities as far as bills and things of that nature. And I'm doing that from years of money management and preparation. So I don't want to wave my hand over it like it hasn't been a cultivation or a discipline that I've been pouring into. This has been a practice and also a privilege, a very big privilege to have options like going home and living with my parents. I know everyone doesn't have those options. So I just want to pause and give that awareness, because I know a lot of people are like, girl, how are you surviving? How are you paying your bills? How are you living? It's like, I got a shelter. I got savings. I have some things that I trust are in place. And I also have, more importantly, faith. Faith that no matter what the situation is, I'm going to figure some stuff out. Like, I'm going to work it out and it's going to be okay. And I don't have to do it alone. I don't have to do it in isolation, nor do I have to beg or regress back to something that does no good for me, does harm to me. I don't want to put my body or my mind back to things that pulled from me in a way of disharmony and division to my spirit. But there are other ways, there are infinite ways of working and living and thriving and creating and breathing in this world. And I'm just very blessed to be able to, again, have this fall time and this moment to slow down, but also have the awareness and the practice to do that. So this fall, I will be slowing down in North Florida with family and trying to build connections here in North Florida. I haven't done the best of job of cultivating connections in North Florida, as I typically just visit North Florida. It's not really a place I call like home. Like, I'm here with my family. My mom, my dad, my granny, my nephew, my sister down the street. But I don't really kick it with nobody here. And I don't really, have a rapport or a network even with people here in wellness and health. And so I find myself reaching out to people more, being a little bit more open, even though I don't want to plant roots here. I still acknowledge that I could use some more support than what I have currently. And there's no shame in that. There's no transaction in that. There's no deception in that. That's my heart reaching out for the care that I need and desire. And I think that's a very beautiful thing that a lot of people may be struggling with on how to reach for, if you are trying to connect with new community or existing community that you may have turned away from or just haven't had success in. Even if you do try, you may be trying and it's just not, there's not a match. Like, you've been trying to put yourself out there, you've been trying to, connect, and it's just not a match. And that's okay. I just want you to be with each and every encounter and take what is helpful and what is unhelpful and use that as your next application, and just keep the momentum going. Don't let the momentum stop when you're trying to connect with people. Again, I'm saying this as a critical piece of human connection, especially this fall, especially during this season, but also going into the winter months, and people just needing support, but not knowing how to ask for it, not wanting to be a burden. But when you start to cultivate those relationships, you start to find that you're doing service just as much as someone else is doing service for you. Meaning, when you ask for help or when you reach out for support or you're just trying to connect and find kinship or friendship or whatever connection, you're blessing someone else's life with that invitation. So know that your invitation is a gift. It is a light. It is refreshing, and it will be a divine connection when it is met. And you don't know what that is until you start to really see the momentum between two or more people. Yeah, I'm going off on a tangent a little bit with that, but I feel very strongly about connections and community building, and also recognize that it's okay if you don't click with somebody or if they're not your cup of tea. But get into that, reflect on that, on what that is. I know myself, sometimes in my past, I have judged people very quickly and reflected on it later and said, that that might be a judgment that I'm holding within me, a rigidity in me that I'm keeping, that's blocking me from seeing what else we can connect on, what else this person might be expressing that I had no idea. Because it's a language where we're learning this communication, this community building. It's a kindness, it's a curiosity that says, what what might this be showing me about me? So that I'm elevating my capacity to see the beauty in whatever kind of package is coming in. My people don't have to look like me. My people don't have to sound like me. My people don't have to do the same things that I do in order for them to be my people. We can connect on so many other things. And for me, I'm trying to find the people that I connect with from a value standpoint. And then we can drill down to the interest and the playfulness. I mean, I can play and cut up with anybody, but I like to recognize that, I have values and those things matter to me. And I want those things to be built up and sustained with other people who also feel the same way. So I say all that to say, as you're slowing down and tuning inward, don't forget about your people. Don't forget about connections. Don't forget about taking extra care of your body and resting. Rest is so important to me, especially during the fall and the winter. I know for me, as someone who grew up as an athlete, someone who's very active, who likes to be outside, when it comes to me not being outside as much, maybe because of the cold weather or harsh weather or just not feeling like going out, maybe there's not much to do, things start to slow down, things start to get quieter towards these seasons. Being able to rest is a very activating thing. It's active towards your creativity. It's active towards your dream space. It's active towards your productivity because you're getting clarity of what your plans and your strategy are for the next season of life. And when you do come out in spring and summer, and you're ready to put more fuel to the fire. I love planning. Like, I love strategy. I don't like, getting into too much of the nuts and bolts of things, but I do like the broad strokes and seeing, okay, this is where we're going, because it allows me to breathe and relax a bit more into the trust of it all. It allows me to surrender. And sometimes it's a it's a give and take. Sometimes you have to give up the surrender. You have to give up and yield to the fact that you don't know what the plan is. You don't know what the strategy is for the next season. And that's the hope and the faithfulness that it will be revealed through rest and that practice of rest, whether your rest practice looks like journaling or napping or going for quiet walks or meditation or just resting in a conversation, resting your eyes on a good book, resting in a good Hallmark movie. Just resting is about, for me, giving yourself a break from all the running around and the ways that our minds set on the next thing before we're even out of the break. We're scarfing our food down, or we're like trying to change our clothes while we're also reading a book or doing something, trying to do too much in one moment. It's about, okay, I'm going to put these things down so that I can focus on this one thing. I'm going to just be here right now as I'm showering. I'm not going to be thinking about all the other things that I have to do. And that's a training of the mind. That's a training of having an embodied awareness of how your body is doing. And I know some people fight it because it's like, oh, I'm slowing down, I'm resting. Girl, I'm going to fall asleep. It's like, okay, let's get into why you're afraid of falling asleep, why you're afraid of falling into maybe a darkness or, shutting down. What does that bring up for you, those fears? I am not a licensed professional. I am not here to give you advice or counsel. I am here to give you information about what you could explore on your own. Things that I've done for myself to say, like, why do I feel a need to just go, go, go? And why can't I just sit here and be still for a moment and pause or just be present with this one thing that I'm doing? Why can't I just enjoy my shower or just, feel into my food a little bit more? And I know there's a lot of things going on. Capitalism, you know, the ways in which we're trained to produce and to go and to perform so that we can maximize our time and energy so that we can support ourselves and the people that we love now and in the future. I get that because we recognize we have a finite time on this earth. And what I am suggesting of slowing down and the power of resting and yielding and surrendering is about being present and honoring what you have in this finite time and space, being grateful and appreciating the life that is you, that is worthy of enjoyment and pleasure and rest. You are worthy of these things. And in order for you to really know that, you have to practice that. You can't just say it intellectually. You can't hear me say it and believe it. You have to practice it. And it helps to practice in community. So I'm going to always come back around to community because even the most simple and seemingly basic things that we do, like breathing, like meditating, like writing, like taking a walk, are exponentially expanded and that much more helpful when we're doing it with someone else. It doesn't even have to be someone walking with you. Just being able to see that someone else is out here doing that thing, trying the way that I'm trying. And it doesn't have to look the same. It's not going to be the same. We're two different bodies, but we're acknowledging that we're not alone and that this too is worthy, that possibly this person gets it a little bit like I get it. That's empowering. That's uplifting. That rains a radiance that carries you forward. And so that's what I want for people to know. And I don't want you to feel ashamed of that, because we need each other. And I know I reach for that because I'm aware of that power. It's a great power. It's a great investment, and it's a great feeling to know that people are in your community and they see you, and you get to see them. It's an equal exchange of love and light. And I'll say this as another aspect of it. Like I don't know where I saw this, but I came across a message that was rooted in fear around people quitting their jobs or quiet quitting or, not doing as much or not working as hard as they used to. And how employers need to start letting people go too, so that they can really experience the squeeze and the suffering of being unemployed and needing to rely on the economy, and just wanting to further suppress and oppress people and show them how much they need these entities, these employers, and these external power figures. And the speaker said something along the lines of employees have gotten too arrogant. They've gotten too full of themselves, as if they're entitled, or that they're just arrogant about how this is going, how this is going to go in a hierarchy, like you work for us, we don't work for you kind of tone, just very fearful. And I will say, as someone who is, like I said, unemployed for the past 3+ years, I'm not arrogant. I'm rested, and I'm aware of my rights to be. I'm full, and this podcast and launch into more depth is a representation of my soul's infinite strength, courage, and wisdom. Shout out to India Ari for that. And I just name that because it is true for you as well. I believe that anything that's true for me is true for all, that we are divinely and just, I can't even put it into words sometimes, but we are just divinely worthy of love and respect and care and support. We have the right to rest. We have a right to expand our awareness from a place of non-judgment, from a place of not over-identifying with our feelings, but to be able to feel our feelings and have space for them, to be able to be aware of our thoughts without becoming our thoughts or thinking that we are our thoughts. We get to slow down. We get to request and demand and command the ways our lives need to be for our well-being. We have free will, and no matter if you are in a job or not in a job, you have that right to rest and to choose what you need in your life and what you desire. And I'm not saying that someone owes you anything, but I am saying that you get to rest and decide for yourself how you want to shapeshift and dream and be a contributor to your own well-being and your wealth and your health. And yeah, don't let nobody punk you out of that. Don't let nobody punk you out of that. Don't let nobody try to scare you with their tactics of fear or threat or scarcity that you can't go and rest or that you can't take some time for yourself. So if you would like to rest. If you want someone to slow down, you slow down. If you want to, you know, change something, change it. Change it. And breathe into it while you're doing it, because change is not always instant. I am a very impatient person sometimes when it comes to the way that I want to see something happen with my behavior or with the way things are going in my life. But as I breathe into patience, as I breathe into the change, I start to notice the shifts because I'm slowing down. And that's where I give God the glory, because it's not until I slow down that I can see how fast things are going, how the changes are happening right before my eyes and beyond. Like, I cannot even begin to account for all the change that is happening in a moment, in a day. And it's not the same. No two moments are. But slowing down really, really helps with that. It really gives me permission to say, I'm right where I need to be. And that confidence that I have in my presence, to just be still and to sit in that and to witness life unfold, allows me to grow, allows me to rest even more and to play even more and to work differently and to work in harmony with others. So I'm so happy you're here to witness, and hopefully as you're listening to this, you were resting alongside with me. But if not, that you can find some time in your day or night to just take a moment to rest, whether that's resting on your feet or resting while you're lying down. Just know that we are resting together and we're sharing this journey. And if you would like to rest in a more formal capacity with me, the invitation to sign up for future events with me is available now on my website at yoyoungblood.com. I will be offering future sessions to sit with me, practice with me, rest with me in community. All are welcome. My space will be Black centering, so I am centering Black folks, all Black folks, marginalized Black folks, disabled Black folks, Christian, non-Christian Black folks, trans Black folks, mixed race Black folks. But everyone else is invited to the party as well. As long as you support Black people healing, you are welcomed in the space, because I know that we are all learning from each other. And I also know that Black people need more spaces where they can just be and be centered and be in practice with that. So the invitation is to everyone, especially my Black folks. So again, if you want to practice together in the future, please sign up on the mailing list at my website, yoyoungblood.com. That's YOYOUNGBLOOD.com. I will talk to y'all later next month. Be kind to yourself, stay connected, and I will talk to you soon. Peace.